Today we are going to talk about securing your IoT applications with DevOps. There are two different pillars if you see IoT development as well as the DevOps, where DevOps is a proven methodology for enterprise applications. Some of the things which we are going to discuss in today's session is how IoT frameworks work, as well as how we can extend the DevOps capability in IoT development and releases. Right. Coming to me, already she has given some details about me. I am Dr. Vamsi Mohan. I am a CTO of one of the product called Hubbo. It is an employee experience platform, and it is architected by me and deployed and hosted on AWS platform. Apart from that, I am a regular speaker in industry conferences and also a IEEE member, as well as I am close to the industry as well as academics. Today's session we are going to discuss the agenda look like this: about the introduction, IoT market analytics, how IoT is growing and grooming in the industry, as well as IoT product maturity frameworks, where you would be seeing first time, or some of them you are seeing first time, how the maturity frameworks for the IoT we are going to discuss. At the same time, some of the key challenges for the IoT developments we are going to discuss about, and DevOps for IoT, as well as the role of DevOps in IoT, as well as some of the standard mechanisms like a 6C mechanism for the DevOps, how we can extend to the IoT frameworks, and the need for the security by design when we are designing the products, either a IoT products or a enterprise products. What is the necessity for the security, as well as what are the different mechanisms like a shift left or a shift right kind of a mechanisms we are going to discuss about. As well as we are going to discuss about DevOps reference architecture. This reference architecture, usually it is most of the enterprises or in the industry is not available for the IoT frameworks. This reference architecture is extended from one of the university where they have published as a thesis. I brought in and we are going to discuss about it. Coming to the introduction of IoT and IoT market, most of the enterprises are already started developing and deploying these IoT solutions in a smaller or a bigger way in the industry. If you see, most of the enterprises are already in the system, from developing a proximity sensors or collecting the statistics of the users, like the people who are attended to this forum, or there are M2M communications, mission-to-mission communications. All this came as part of your IoT application development. Now we are talking about these IoT applications when we are developing, how much it is secure. This is a concern for most of the IoT developments. When we are working for the security for individual components, as well as the components which are talking to each other, mission-to-mission communications, it is more insecure. If something happens, the entire environment will be a chaos. As part of this, we started extending the industry best practices as part of your DevOps or a DevSecOps. It helps you to develop, as well as it helps to implement the security mechanism and release to the operations, which is a combination of both development and operations cycle. If you see IoT market analytics, we were talking about IoT is increased in the industry. As of now, there are 7 billion of connected devices across the globe, and the revenue is also 25.4 billion. We have seen the revenue of IoT and IoT related market, as well as IoT devices surpassed compared to the non-IoT sector or connecting machines. That's why we would be seeing the smart devices like earlier we used to use our micro ovens. Now we are using smart micro ovens, which will be talking the heat, everything you can control from your wearable devices or from your mobile. These kind of the existing devices, they made it smarter. At the same time, they rolled out to the industry. As well as there are 400 plus IoT active platforms, and now as part of the ventures as well as the IoT startups, most of the investment is going towards that. Either irrespective of the segment, like either a healthcare or education or medical industry, 10% of the VC funding is going for the IoT and IoT development, peripheral development areas. And apart from these statistics, you would be seeing video entertainment is also one of the biggest category when we are talking about IoT. If you see, the video capturing became easy. Nowadays, we are capturing in the 360 degrees angle, and at the same time from the top shot without any great efforts because of the connected systems. And also this video entertainment domain became easier when we are talking about the IoT and IoT related communications. There are 7.74 billion connected devices across IoT sector. When we are talking about any industry or any enterprise applications, we will be talking about different maturities, where we are with respect to the development. This is one of the IoT product maturity framework we are going to discuss about. If you see, a couple of years back or a decade back, we were talking about very initial state of IoT. That time we were able to do the POCs. Still, most of the companies are doing at the POC level, and we are actually exhibiting to our customers and try to buy in some of the projects. We don't know what we are going to do once the project comes also. But as of now, we can understand the problem and we are able to show it as a POC, as a single piece of a code. This kind of environment, we call it as level 1. It is a level 1 maturity for our projects. And level 2 is with the limited use cases. Once we have grabbed the different use cases for implementation and we started implementing it, this is level 2. And well, after grabbing and developing the use cases, we will be releasing these use cases to the industry, to the market. This phase we call it as an MVP. Most of the IoT projects at this moment are at MVP levels only. Either the MVP size will be a smaller or a bigger, but it is not completely a matured IoT platforms, and you would be seeing still MVP stage. And after that, level 4 is a key differentiator. How these 400 plus different platforms are, how my product can give value add services to my customer. This comes as part of your L4. Unless the maturity comes as a MVP stage, you won't reach to the key differentiator phase. When we have seen this key differentiator phase, we'd be seeing the revenue generation as well as the cost savings from your devices. Basically, if you see, level 4 and level 5 will be the revenue generations. You would be seeing attracting the revenue and leveraging a small portion of margins as part of this framework. As of now, whatever the industry is now between L3 and L4. Not completely reaped out the margins of L5 because we are pretty young as part of your IoT. And what are the key challenges in developing IoTs? One is automated integrated testing is difficult. In case of most of the testers, the QC team were quite flexible with your enterprise applications. You can easily test it and you can automate the frameworks. However, in case of IoT devices, it is difficult to automate the testing. This is one of the complex area, as well as IoT releases are most of the times it is a big bang and not iterative. Basically, if you see in case of the enterprise applications, we can develop a component and we can release it. But in IoT cases, unless you completely develop, you won't see it is a testable product. And because of that off-build or off-baked products, it is quite difficult to even sending to the QC teams. Not for the to the market, even sending to the next phase of the testing phase is also difficult to send it. And also, DevOps processes are unified, not unified across the devices, as well as mobility and the cloud. Basically, if you see the DevOps processes, the integration from code chicken to deployment is different in case of when we talking about the device specific developments. This is also one of the major challenge when we are talking about IoT devices. What happens is basically even we can take the example of the mobile devices. When we are talking about the platform for iOS is different for BlackBerry is different for Android. This kind of it is not completely unified, and as part of that only you would be seeing some of the Azure clouds or Oracle clouds. They started giving standard unified DevOps frameworks for the IoT devices, as well as lack of agility in IoT development is one of the challenge, and also delays in the time to market. Basically, this we have seen as part of your enterprise applications as well, and a similar kind of a difficulty you would be seeing in case of IoT as well. And over the air deployments is also challenge. In case of enterprise applications, there is no scope for over the air deployments unless you are working for a telecom OSS side. But in case of IoT applications, once we have deployed to the site or to the live, the upgrades has to done through your over the air. Probably the 5G and 6G will give more leverage to update these devices, but as of now you would be seeing some challenges as part of your over the air deployments, and also less focus on core business needs and more efforts fixing and releasing the processes. This is one of the challenge. And also no visible on the current state. When we are developing about the IoT applications, where we are with respect to the protocols, whether these standard protocols or ISO protocols are fitting to your business case or not, is not clear unless a standard mechanism is available in place. Why we have to bring in a standard mechanism or standard frameworks like DevOps? Until probably 5-6 years back, we were not talking about the DevOps. 2007 and 8, the DevOps framework has evolved to the IT industry. Before that, we were ad hoc deployments were happening. But once we have adopted the DevOps frameworks for the enterprise applications, we want to leverage that, we want to reap the same benefits to the IoT platforms. As part of that, why DevOps is application reliability? It helps to deploy in a standard way, and how many times you deploy, in the same way you would be deploying it, whether it is a manual deployment or an automated deployment. This is one of the advantages with your DevOps frameworks. As well as second factor is security. Security became quite challenged from the last 1 decade, and the security concerns got increased after the pandemic. Basically, industry was not ready to accommodate the communication with respect to the security needs. Once for all, from 2019 onwards, when the employees or when the executives working from homes, the infrastructure was not sufficient to support work from home needs. At the same time, your private routers and modems are vulnerable for the security attacks. Because of this, the security became one of the major aspect as part of your IT industry, and the same we are extending as part of your IoT, and that can be leveraged through the DevOps mechanism. And faster releasing cycles. We have seen the faster development cycles and the releasing cycles as part of your DevOps. Quite successfully we have implemented in the enterprise side, and same lessons we want to extend as part of the IoT. And the role of DevOps in IoTs. Basically we have discussed, and most of the forum here knows what is the role of DevOps in your enterprise applications. But what is the role of IoT? One is a spreading effect. It is nothing but it is a CI, continuous integration. When the code is developed, a small code when you have developed, you have to continuously release to the devices or to your repositories to update the version. This is one of the advantages through the DevOps. We call it as spreading effect. And evolution effect is continuous deployments. Once you have integrated the code, you have to deploy to your devices. This is part of your evaluation. It evaluates your product as part of your deployment mechanism. And also software defined anything, it is like on-demand services comes as part of your anything as a software defined. And the infrastructure in place is one of the role. DevOps infrastructure, when we have bringing it, it automatically takes about. I have seen in some of the deployments, the people who are sitting from home and deploying the applications in their data centers through their, not through their laptops, they started deploying through their mobiles. They are just sending one command, it automatically the bot will receive and it start deploying it. This kind of a maturity we have seen when we are talking about the DevOps mechanism, when we are coming to the enterprise applications. Similar kind of implementations is possible when we are talking about IoT. And also the cost efficiency and greater productivity we have seen as part of the other environment as well. You would be seeing in IoT also. And new revenue streams as part of your level 5, you would be leveraging the benefit of generating the different revenue sources through DevOps. As part of DevOps, probably someone might be having heard about DevSecOps. Always we talk about the DevOps, where DevSecOps it came. Basically, the DevSecOps is like the security aspect is a plug-in to your DevOps. When you are monitoring the systems, you bring Jabex or Izinga or Negios kind of a platforms and roll out. Your entire mechanism will convert into the DevSecOps. Basically, DevOps is a bigger umbrella. Inside it, you would be seeing DevSecOps, or you would be seeing AIOps, artificial intelligence and operations, or MLOps when we are talking about the data flowing from one device to another device. All this takes care as part of your DevOps mechanism. And this is the 6 C's we are talking about: the continuous deployment, continuous integration and continuous testing, and the continuous delivery, deployment and monitoring. Some of the things we have already discussed as part of the previous slides, like a continuous integration and continuous deployment. And the continuous testing is possible through your automation testing when you are applying on IoT applications. And we were talking about the need for security by design. What is the need for security? We were talking about the IoT over the air, the security is required, as well as the hardware and security has to be tested at a time. Basically, the software we test and the hardware devices, it comes as an OEM product. We won't test. We'll be testing at last because it is already ISO certified. We'll deploy our code to the we'll transfer our code to the devices and it starts working. But it won't work. You would be seeing last minute surprises. That's why at the time of designing itself, it is required to manage your software and hardware products. And security and DevOps we have already discussed about. And 60% of faster time to market when we are implementing the DevOps, as well as 70% of maximizing the benefit as part of your QA, and 70% reduced efforts of your dev teams. This is one of the advantages as part of DevOps you would be seeing. And this is the cycle which we are talking about, primarily development, CI and CD and the operations or a production. You will be seeing as part of this life cycle. Just give me 5 more minutes. Okay. Security by design we were talking about. I had to speed up. Sorry. Most of the security concerns we will be seeing from deployment stage. Most of the site reliability engineers will be deploying the security aspects as part of your deploy, operate and monitor. However, it is strongly recommended as part of your planning, code, build and test phases as well. This is one of the aspects which we have seen at the time of a planning itself. You have to take care about your security. And in fact, matured business analysts and product managers started talking about the security as part of your requirement gathering itself. It comes as part of your non-functional requirements. You, as a product manager or a business analyst, you have to ask to the customer, what is your current environment? When we are releasing this application, what kind of effects you would be seeing? What is your environment of your structures, legacy structures? It is quite difficult. Your modern systems, it won't compatible with the legacy systems. Everything will be considered as part of your shift left design strategy. As well as DevOps cycle, you would be seeing as a CI, CT and CD mechanisms. And I was talking about some of the testing and release mechanisms as part of this DevOps cycle. And this is the DRA framework I was talking about. This DRA framework, mostly in the industry side, not started adopting it. However, you would be seeing in the research and development, this already started. You would be seeing probably a couple of years after, you would be seeing this kind of a characteristics, like a framework characteristics and architecture and a framework composition will come as part of your industry norms in couple of years. And this is the reference architecture model I was talking about. One is contextual model, conceptual model, logical model, physical model, and operations model. These different models, how we can start and deploy to the operations will explain as part of your DRA architecture. And also one of the important thing is we have already discussed about the CI/CDs as a 6 C's. As part of it comes as part of your development environment. When it comes to the DevOps concepts, the continuous integration, continuous deployment will be working here, and it is directly talking to your CI broker. The CI broker earlier it was not exists in the infrastructure. Now most of the cloud frameworks started using this CI broker. When we are using the CI broker, this helps to release the vendor lock-ins. If you see, most of the IoT platforms will be having a vendor lock-in. Once we come up with Azure or once we go with OCI, it automatically will be sticking for the next 10 years. But when we are talking about this CI broker, this is this gives a flexibility to deploy all your applications via this. It is a loose coupled layer, and once it is started deploying it, it will be directly deploying to your IoT containers. Through there, it will be going in a different models of your direct product marketing model or a SaaS-based model or a different cost availability models you would be seeing as part of it. That's all from my side, and the conclusion is like a standard mechanisms are required, and also the life cycle is beyond deploy, break, fix, and retire mechanisms. As of now, we are not there in the retire stage. We are deploying and breaking the things, and also whatever the applications which we have already released to the production, we are fixing some of the issues. We are not decommissioning the things. It will take care probably after a couple of years. All right, thank you very much. Yep. CI broker. CI broker is like a API layer, API gateway. It is a gateway when all the deployment requests coming to it, and it goes. It varies from cloud to cloud. In the on-premise solutions, the CI broker is not available completely. Yes. Yep. Right. When we are talking about the device-to-device communication, assume if the devices are connecting via your 4G models, the devices are already established, already deployed in the site, in your live, and it is working on the 4G. But we have seen already 5G rollouts are happening, and we cannot connect these machines through the physical cables and update. Especially in case of a telecom industries, like it is distributed completely these devices across the globe. How can we upgrade? That time through the BTS, the base transmission stations, we usually send the software to the devices and it auto upgrades. It is called upgrade through your air. When the devices are already serving in service, you can upgrade the patches. How you upgrade your Windows? Like that, the devices which are connected through Wi-Fi or infrared or through GPS communications, you can upgrade your systems. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We have a small token of appreciation, sir.